So yes, like many of you, I've heard the He-Man news. Now, they've talked about remaking Masters of the Universe or just doing a new film, whether you want to call it a remake, a reinvention, call it what you will. They've been discussing this now for about 15 years. And if you've been following it like I have, at one stage there, they were actually talking about Gerard Butler playing He-Man. They also threw out there Brad Pitt at one point, and for a long time they were talking about Chris Hemsworth. Now, I don't know whether they ever really spoke to these actors about signing on to play He-Man, but those actors were certainly thrown out into the press, and those names. And, I mean, Gerard Butler, Chris Hemsworth, Brad Pitt, all interesting choices. But now, the big news, Nicholas Galitzine. Now, many of you out there are probably saying, who is Nicholas Galitzine? Well, do we really need a name actor to portray He-Man? He-Man is the thing. So, this guy has been working steadily. I watched him recently in a Amazon Prime film he was in with Anne Hathaway called The Idea of You. And I think he was fine in that film. He played his role really well. And I'm sure he'll be very popular with young females. I can just imagine that he would be developing a fan base. But guys, he's got dark hair, and we all think of He-Man as having these flowing blonde locks. So he's not your obvious choice, but I think he could be an interesting choice. And all he might have to do is bulk up a little bit. I mean, he's a young guy. He, I think, would be fit. So therefore, he'll just have to hit the gym and maybe turn into Henry Cavill like he did when he did Man of Steel, 10, 12 years ago. But Nicholas Galitzine as He-Man. Interesting. And I must say, I've always been a fan of that Dolph Lundgren film. That Cannon movie from the late 80s. That was the big live-action Masters of the Universe movie. And I can remember lining up around the block to see that film, getting knocked back and going back again to try and see it another day. And I really enjoyed that in the theatre, and I think one of the main reasons why I enjoyed that film is not only did I get to experience He-Man on the big screen, which really was a cool cartoon in the 80s, and it had that great toy line attached to it, but it had a great plot device. And I think the original concept was to make the He-Man movie all set on Eternia back then in the 80s. But Cannon just didn't have the budget to do that, and they kind of had He-Man and the gang leave and go to Earth. And there was a time travel element. There was a time portal thing going on. I haven't seen it for a while. And I think it was that time travel element that made that film quite interesting, and that He-Man was in our world. And I just think it was cool for its time. So Nicholas Galitzine is actually a really interesting choice for He-Man. And I'm definitely up for another Masters of the Universe film. I mean, it's been, nearly 30 years. And that's a long time, isn't it? And during that time, I have watched Masters of the Universe with Dolph Lundgren a few times. And I must say, every time I enjoy the film. It's an escape from reality, and it makes you think about the cartoons, and it makes you think that maybe they could do something interesting today. So let's hope they do with Nicholas Galitzine, because I'm up for it, and some of you could be as well. So, is he the right choice? I think a newcomer is always a good choice. Remember Christopher Reeve in Superman the movie? What a great choice Christopher Reeve was. Is Nicholas Galitzine the new Superman, or should I say He-Man? Is he going to be something special? Possibly. So I'm keeping the door open on this, and I'm excited to hear more.
Thanks for watching. Retro Man will return faster than a boomerang. But in the meantime, please check out these other episodes.